Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Look at It Now podcast. I hope everybody's had a great weekend and that you guys got to do the things that you wanted to do. Like, for example, I got out to play some pickleball, even though it was so hot because I live in California. So I pulled through, but I think I just want to check up on you to make sure that you're taking time out for yourself, engage in activities that bring you peace and joy and happiness. If you like dancing, if you like cooking, if you like crafting, or going shopping, whatever it is, like I hope that your past week along with your weekend has been really what you wanted it to be. So today, this is my first time like doing a video podcast. I am hyped. I'm really hyped, but I'm also kind of really nervous, like how it's going to turn out to be, because I've never done this before and I feel nervous. So just bear with me. Because today we are talking about something really important and I want to do my best to share those tips with you. So let's get into the episode. As you can tell, if you follow me on social media, you can see that I post a lot about fitness and just moving your body and doing what feels good for you, among like a lot of other content that I also do. And I think I do want to preface it by saying that I was not athletic my entire life. I grew up overweight. Over the past several years, I've lost over 40 pounds, which is like around 20 kilos. So at my heaviest, I was around 172 pounds. And the moment that made me make a change in my life, I still remember it. But, anyways, like, I think one thing that I've learned along the way is that how important it is to ingrain fitness as part of your daily lifestyle rather than something that comes and goes, ebbs and flows. And it's better to stick to something that you like rather than trying to make yourself force this habit on yourself that you really hate and you don't really feel good after it. So, falling in love with fitness was never my goal. My goal was to look better for myself, like I think lose weight, whatever that is. But even though like I didn't have this goal in my life of like trying to love fitness, fortunately I've landed in a position where I do love fitness and it hasn't ever been easy. The first time I remember I pulled up this YouTube random workout on my phone, trying to think that, oh, if I do this, I'm going to lose weight because that's just how they were titled. But, anyways, that was my first time doing like any sort of workout. I never thought as a kid growing up, oh, moving your body is important. I was just like chilling and hanging out, watching TV, eating as much as I could. I was not doing the best, but the first time I pulled that video up, I honestly, like, I remember the first exercise was like doing a crunch, and I never knew what a crunch was, So I remember I was trying to get my head up to, like, how you crunch and you try to come up from the ground level. My core wasn't strong enough to support me to bring me up. And I was like, this is so hard. Like, thinking back to that moment, I'm like, how did I even pull through that first moment to where I am right now? I mean, I strength train regularly now, like at least 5 times in a week. And, but I remember this specific example, like from a couple weeks ago when I took a solid core class. I was in there and, it's solid core. So they're doing a lot of core work, right? So at my fourth or like fifth exercise, and we're still like, hitting our obliques and our ab muscles, I'm just like, it's really burning. But then this voice in my head said, it's burning. That means it's good. Just stay with it. And the burn will be gone in a moment, but you will feel so much good after that. Like that whole dialogue that happened in my brain right then and there just shows how much progress and how much evolution has happened within my mindset. And that's just to prove that anybody could do it. It takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes commitment, honestly. And who are we if we don't keep our promises to ourselves? So, I want to share the things that have actually helped me mentally to stick with a workout routine and made me fall in love with movement so much that I crave it and my body asks for it, honestly. And so, it's It does seem like a physical transformation when you look from the outside, but I would say over 80% of it is mental, like from the habits to the resilience it takes to become this person. So the first thing is forming a strong why. For a long time, the only why I had of working out was to change the way I look, which is only external motivation. Like, not to say that you can't have that motivation, but it only got me so far. And what are you going to do when you're having a bad body image day, which happens a lot of times, especially if you don't like the way you look in the phase of life that you are. And I remember this specific instance that happened to me like 4 years ago at this point. I was in college. That was the first summer I started like resistance training, strength training for the first time in my life. And I was actually sticking to the routine. And I remember standing in front of a mirror after work and I was in a restroom. And at that point, I really didn't like the way I was looking. I'm like, I've been going to the gym for like a month now, and like nothing's changing. But that wasn't true, right? Like, I was lifting much heavier. I think I had been going at that point for like 2 months. So at that point, I was lifting like 20 pounds of dumbbells for bicep curls, which is crazy. Um, and I was kind of like in my head, I didn't like the way I look, and I was like, and I didn't really maybe eat well that day. So I was like, I don't feel like going. And then I switched up my dialogue. I'm like, how much worse can it get? Like, if you go to the gym and you move your body, it's only going to get better, right? Like, you can't end up looking worse. It's only going to help you. I don't know how much, maybe a percent, maybe 1%, maybe 2%, but it is still progress, right? Just go. But that before moment where if you don't have a strong why, it's easy to succumb to your feelings in the moment. It's easy to talk yourself out of going. Also, around this time, I was coming across a lot of like gym content on my social media. Like, I was looking at a different variety of fitness influencers. So that was really boosting my confidence up to be like, you go to the gym to get stronger and fitter. And I started to kind of absorb those messages. Of course, it takes time from the moment I started absorbing those messages to the moment I started executing on those messages, you know? But influences like I remember like Brie Lenehan, she's from Australia. She would talk about body positivity a lot and getting stronger and eating the food that I should view as fuel to get me the progress I wanted in the gym. That was really motivational. Sydney from the UK, she's really amazing. Like looking at her from where she started to where she is now, amazing. And this came later, but I also admire Marie Llewellyn a lot. Like she's the founder of Bloom, looking at her fitness transformation journey. But just saying that these strong women who chose to make a positive impact in their life by choosing the hard thing motivated me that I could do it too. And my why started to change from that external motivation of looking a certain way and trying to lose weight to now getting stronger because I feel good when I'm strong and getting fitter because it allows me to do so much other shit in life. But I think the nail in the coffin for me happened really last year where I fractured my pinky toe on my right foot on accident, on a bed frame, by the way, when I was going to try to read a book in the night before I slept, trying to be better about my dopamine hits, and that's how the universe rewards me. So, anyways, I mean, I just remember feeling so helpless in that moment because I could barely walk. I could walk, but I was so much in pain. And I was like, shit. Like going to the gym, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind is like, how am I going to walk for myself? Because I walk a lot, I'm really active, and I love being active, you know? And my work at that time was also like really on the feet. And it just like really came crashing down on me. I'm like, how lucky I was before I broke this finger versus now. Also, who knew a small finger like that could cause you so much pain in your life that it takes over you? So be aware. You know, saying it is one thing that I'm grateful for my body. I feel so much gratitude. But when that scary situation actually happens and you get in an accident and you physically cannot make it happen for yourself, the movement that you crave, you really get to learn how blessed I am to be able to do that. Like, I just remember, like, if I get this fracture healed as soon as I can, I'll be the happiest person that I've ever known. And in the same year, for a couple of weeks, like I was again out by an injury. I hit my right elbow, the funny bone, in like a wall or something. And I did some tricep extensions. And the next morning, my whole right elbow was swollen. I could not bend it like this. I couldn't go straight. It would hurt so much. And then I remember going to the gym. I'm like, can't hit upper body as much as I want. And I remember looking at other people in the gym. I'm like, damn, look at them lifting those dumbbells. Like, jealousy never had a peak level than in that moment. That's a story I had to learn, in its own time, that movement is something really that if you understand what it can do for your mind, then the physical discomfort that it causes is worth going through. It just keeps you getting more resilient and resilient. And that's what I love about it, honestly. Anyways, like those injuries, like really also like put into perspective for me that when I get older and if I lose my mobility, and especially as women, it is so important to build muscles right now in our 20s, because when we hit 30, like our calcium deposits in our bones start to erode away. And we're not able to put up muscle mass in our body as easily than we can do right now in our 20s. That made me really realize that this is my time right now. This is my peak fitness level. Like I really have to execute on it. I've listened to all kinds of health experts, and all of them have this singular advice. Strength training is like an investment for your body, and you want to do it because time will pass anyway. So you better invest right now. And investments, as we know by the concept of money, it's not investing $1 million a day. Even if you invest $1 a day, you're going to recoup it much bigger later down the line. So again, find your strong why. There's so much more that's important to me as a woman: my longevity, how long I live, and how well I live. And can I still execute the tasks I do right now when I'm in my 50s? Like climbing up and down multiple stairs, going on long, long walks when I'm traveling the world. Like, can I still be able to execute my basic human functions at a level where my fitness is not the one that's holding me back, but it's empowering me? And I really look forward to that time because it's going to come whether we want it or not. We're going to get older. So I really operate from a place of data and honestly a place of self-love where I know I need to execute movement to feel good, have a great mindset, but also improve the biometrics that allow me to live a healthier and longer life. So, like most of us, for a long time, I was trapped in an all or nothing mindset. That meant that if I went to the gym, I had to go through my entire workout and really like spend that hour long time and make it happen, which you can do it on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, but then it comes, be it Thursday, and then I don't want to do it. I don't want to give the time. So it's really draining. And then it really like psychologically, your brain can start making excuses like it did for me to be like, pull back. You're not going. That's too long. Or that's too much of like, I don't know, hard work or whatever. Which in honesty, we kind of like spend time like that on social media anyway. The thing that really turned it around for me was it was in 2023, so 3 years ago at this point. And I was like, I was well into my fitness journey by that point, like a few years. I would say I'm not saying that my fitness journey always looked like so linear where I knew everything I was doing. Like for a long time, I was making mistakes. I was just doing cardio. I was just like sometimes not moving. If I didn't spend 45 minutes on a treadmill, I would not go. And I had been following like Katie Austin. She's a fitness influencer. And I started doing her fitness app, the Katie Austin app. And like the way she just approached teaching movement and fitness to women was so unique. How she empowered showing up as its own thing, and then being so like cheerful and exciting and being so affirming in your worth of why, if you choose this today, you're choosing a better version of yourself. And that really stuck with me. Like the more I started being consistent with it every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe take a break on Thursday and then come back again on Friday, the more my brain understood, okay, this is something we shouldn't skip, because the activation energy required to begin doing this task is not that much. So if you lower the activation energy and bring it down so that you know mentally it's not as tough for you to get started, then the chances of us doing the workout becomes really high, right? Because then it's easier for me to show up 3 4 times a week rather than only showing up 1 to 2 times a week. I also have been now doing workouts on the Form app by Sammy Clark, and I love her again. And she has a similar message where showing up for yourself, embodying that energy that you want to carry around in your day, becoming a better version of yourself, moving your body because you want to get stronger, you want a better life, and all these positive things has really, again, helped me to play on a video at home, take a really good workout class. I can do Pilates, I can do strength training, I can do cardio, I can do whatever I want with a lower activation energy because it's on my phone and I'm being motivated by people that I really actually like and I want to become like them, if that makes sense. But, like, for example, this morning, I kind of have been in this rhythm of just going to the gym as soon as I wake up, like rushing out the door. And I was able to do this 30-minute lower leg Pilates workout with like 2 pound of ankle weights. And it was the perfect start to the morning. I got my mobility in, I got my stretches in, I got a little bit of resistance in there. And I was in the comfort of my home. I was on a carpet, like it was warm and cozy. So, all in all, to say, it can become like a self care activity if you design it in that way. So, find that for yourself, and you might end up liking it more than you ever imagined. It kind of lends into my next point, which is make it easy for yourself. So, I read about this idea on James Clear's book, The Atomic Habits. And I remember reading and also listening to him recently on a podcast and talking about how if you just make it just really easy and simple for yourself to go, like you'll end up going. So, and I want to like really read in my personal story here because I've always made going to the gym easy for myself. And that's why I think I've never really fully fallen out of fitness. So I remember the first time I started like my fitness journey, I was doing cardio at home. I had a treadmill and an elliptical machine. So I made it really easy for myself to just hop on and really keep up the promise by just going to these machines that were at my place. But even though, like, I wasn't doing everything in that moment that really required me to be a fit person, just having that close access allowed me to really progress on my fitness journey. That progress it wasn't tremendous, but at least it made me understand that, hey, this is something that you do and it's right there. So you better go do it. Um, and then the first time I actually worked out in a public gym was when I first came to university. And as a freshman, I went into the gym, which was like a 10-15 minute walk away from my dorm at that point. And my entire college life, I actually lived only 10-15 minute away from the gym. Like I did move to like my own apartment, but still like I didn't really change locations too much. And I love that proximity because I like at a point where it became harder for me to go. And I just knew that I could just go on my way. It was so easy. Like I didn't have to drive. And I also like love doing like quick little dumbbell workouts with like Katie Austin app on days that I really didn't feel like, lifting like heavy. And even like a body weight Pilates exercise, anything. And I love like a slower Pilates moves. Like I just like love sometimes being in my feminine energy and just doing things that truly make me feel aligned with how I'm feeling sometimes. Like I can be a disciplined person, but I can also listen to my feelings and get back to what my soul is asking for. So, anyways, that goes to the point that on days that it was raining or the weather wasn't perfect, I still was able to go just because how close it was. And even now that I moved out of college and I've started like a full time job. So, when I took my gym membership here, I made sure it was really close to me and my apartment because I knew like after hectic long days of work, I like going to the gym might be the last thing I want. Like, I'm just so lucky that it just happened that I found a gym that was really close to my apartment. And right after work, I was doing like a 15-minute walk. And during summers, even the sun wouldn't set too quickly. So it really allowed me to, just come back from work, have my snack, and then walk to the gym, come back after like an hour and really take my time with it, honestly. Because if I wasn't in a rush, if it was like 30 minutes away from me, no way was I going really out of my way to go make a drive or take some sort of transport to go to the gym. So all in all, like over these different phases of my life, the gym has always been close to me, which is why I think I still stick to it to this day. My next advice is that build yourself like the best damn project of your entire life. So I was talking to one of my friends the other day and I was telling her, like, we schedule like these weekly, bi weekly, maybe monthly meetings at work to check up on progress of a project or maybe work with other people on this project together. So the time is carved out and you can never say no to that meeting, right? You always have to show up and you always have to contribute to the work. So if we can do that for all of these like multiple work projects that we do for our career, why can't we do it on ourselves? Like I remember I got a really bad news last year and it really shook me up. Like something like that had never happened to me. And I came back home and you know what I do the next day? I go to the gym. I told myself, you can take that, whatever was taken away from me at that point, but you cannot take my health away. And in that moment, I was like, I am the only thing I have right now to work on. Like I am the purpose. Bettering myself is the purpose. And like I showed up and I kind of like started to feel like sorry for myself. Oh, maybe you shouldn't go. Oh, maybe you should just stay back and just really sulk in your feelings, which is okay to do, but I showed up. You know how sometimes you feel embarrassed in the gym to do a certain exercise because you've never done that before? Or we like sometimes I'm embarrassed because I'm doing like my random Pilates workout. I'm like, this move does not seem like a gym move. And then I think to myself, well, who's reaping the benefits of it? Me. Who's going to become stronger and fitter because of it? Me. So again, you have to really weigh out the importance that if you are your own project and if you pour into yourself, there's no one else who can take that energy away from you. And my last point, and probably the most important point of this whole podcast episode, is that shift your identity. Ever since I started telling myself I'm an athlete, oof, like I push myself harder in the gym. No, no, no. When I get weaker, that's when I push myself harder. Like when my arms are burning out and I'm lifting that dumbbell, I'm telling myself, give me 2 more reps because it burns and you're going to feel so much better after. When I'm doing a plank and my core is burning out, that lethal burn, I'm telling myself, stay here for 10 more seconds because you're an athlete and you can do it. When you're working out and you feel like you're out of breath and that your muscles are burning out, in that moment, just for a few seconds, push yourself more. And that resilience will forever stay with you, and it will only keep on getting stronger and stronger. So I have an athlete friend, and kind of watching him like even go through like threatening injuries that maybe threatening for like an athlete's career, and going through these rough times and maybe some good times too, but like staying consistent to the fitness, to the commitment, and to the sport itself has been really inspiring for me to watch, honestly. So if you are showing up in the gym and I am showing up in the gym, and we tell ourselves we're an athlete, that effort will really match that mindset. Try it for yourself, it works. Sometimes, like, I run and my heart's pumping out of my chest, and I really want to give up. I really, really do. And I always tell myself the moment you feel like you want to give up in a run, that's when you don't give up. That's when you honestly, like, you can run slower, but don't stop running. That's really something that's helped me. This is also a point that has also been mentioned in Atomic Habit, that if you are trying to build a habit that stays with you for a long time, you have to shift your identity. You have to tell yourself, I'm a person who goes to the gym. I'm a person who shows up for myself. I'm a person who is an athlete. I'm a person who's strong. I'm not weak. And I show up for myself regardless. Physically, our bodies are capable of handling so much more than we give them credit for. But mentally, I think that's where we crap out, for the lack of better words. Um, So I think that if you want a healthier, more fulfilling lifestyle, I think going based off of just emotions, that I don't feel like going to the gym because it's Tuesday and it's 5 p.m. Well, we'll never feel like going to the gym, you know? I think over time, what I've learned, it's the systems, it's the discipline, and it's how easy I have made for myself to show up that have resulted in me keeping my promise. Like, I would go so far as to give credit to my fitness journey of making me mentally resilient, that now I think it could be delusional, but now I think that, oh, I could do anything. Like, I just feel that resilience in me right after I step out of the gym. And over time, it's been psychologically embedded in me that I could really do the hard things that I fear from. So if that's not motivation enough, I don't know what is. But, anyways, with that, I hope you apply one or multiple of these mindsets in your life, and that it really helps you in your journey. And, these are things that I also have to keep reminding myself. It's really taken me years to build this mindset up about myself and the way I look at fitness. But, anyways, this episode was all about movement, the mindsets around movement. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment and please leave me a review. I really appreciate any of the thoughts you have, whether you want to leave an emoji. Please share it with the friends that you know are going through something similar and would really benefit from this episode. I really want this resource to be able to reach as many people as it can. And again, I'm so thankful that you were able to join me on the third episode of the Look at Now show. I am going to sign off and take care. Bye.